We are going to begin Lesson 3 of Ukulenga, which is art in Bemba. We went over the 5 elements of shape, which are on the board here. I will point to them and you say them with me. Circle, dot, straight line, curved line, or angled line. Now, let's just review a few of the shapes. Do you remember the circle and the gesture drawing? We go forward and backward and forward. Also, we had a triangle. This one's a little different because we curved the bottom with a curved line instead of a straight line. So we're going to go forward, backward, forward, curved line, forward, backward, forward, forward, backward, forward, and we have a triangle. Now let's look at the square. Forward, backward, forward, forward, backward, forward, forward, backward, forward, forward, backward, forward. And this is what we call a cylinder. It's 2 straight lines on the side with an oval on the top and an oval on the bottom, but you only see the front of the oval here. We are going to learn the difference between a 2D shape and a 3D shape. What we did in Lesson 2 were 2D. What we are doing in Lesson 3 is 3D shapes. We are going to make form out of these 2D shapes. So first we're going to take the circle and we are going to determine where our light is coming from on the circle. If our light was coming from this direction and hit the circle, it can become a sphere, a round ball, very easily by making a shadow on the opposite side of the circle. So we're going to put in a shadow in this sphere. And we're going to start by just drawing a line around there. We're going to draw part of an oval beside the ball so it looks like a cast shadow is happening. This will make our circle look like a ball or look like a world or a globe or a sphere. So we're going to fill in the shadow by going back and forth and back and forth, 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 back and forth. And this is what we call a tapered stroke. In the cast shadow, we're also going to fill that in like we would a dot. And we're going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth until it's all filled in with your pencil. Do you see the difference now between a circle and a sphere? We're starting to see form come from these shapes, or this shape. Now let's go to the cone. This cone has a light source from behind the cone, and it's casting a shadow in front of the cone. So we're going to fill that in with our tapered stroke, and we're going to see how this sphere, not sphere, I'm so sorry, this is a cone. We're going to see how we can make this triangle look like a cone. Now, some of the sunlight is going to hit this direction, so we are just going to have a shadow that comes pretty well slanted down to that shadow. But it's going to cover most of the back side of this cone because the sun or the light is coming from the opposite direction. Now you can go back and forth different ways. If you cross over, that's called cross-hatching. If you don't, that's a tapered stroke. Now let's go to the square. We're going to have to add some sides to this square to make it look more 3D. We're going to add another square behind it, which comes down. I'm just going to dot it in so you can see it, but we actually would not see it if we saw a cube. This will be its shadow, and we are going to use the tapered stroke, go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to make that shadow, because the sun is coming from this direction, hitting the block or the cube and making a cast shadow on the other side. Let's look at the cylinder. We have a cylinder and we have a shadow coming this direction. Now I want you to think with me. If the shadow is coming this direction from the cylinder, where is your light source coming from? It would be the opposite direction. So your light is coming down here, hitting the cylinder, causing a cast shadow. And so from about here over, we're going to have another shadow on the cylinder. One part of the cylinder is going to be light over here, and the other part of the side is going to be dark. Of course, if your light is coming this way, it's going to hit the top of the cylinder and there won't be any shadow there. I'm getting cut off here. So just remember to change a 2D shape into a 3D shape. It must have form. If it has form, you are going to see shadow. And we're going to talk about shadows more in the next lesson. But for now, I want you to practice making a sphere, making a cone, a cube, and a cylinder. Have a good day, and we will look forward to lesson number 4. Bye-bye.